What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to World According to Briggs and a look at the immigrant population of the United States. If you go back far enough, we're all immigrants in the United States. That is, unless in your family history the word indigenous or Native American shows up. But I get questions all the time about the demographics of the United States. Most people are just curious about where to live. They'd like to know what they're looking at if they move to someplace. They want to be around people like themselves, whatever the situation. We have other comments and a few emails from people with bad information. A few comments have suggested that it's a fact Los Angeles is 90% immigrants or foreign-born people living here, whatever you want to call it. It's not even close. I had one guy claim Puerto Ricans make up 95% of the Bronx and half are here illegally. Okay, so Kyle had a few things explained to him. Puerto Ricans can't be here illegally because they've been US citizens since 1917. I don't think he was happy about the links I sent him because I got one reply and it had two words on it. Those words started with an F and a U. I replied but never heard back from Kyle. Now those are just a couple of the examples I get. Most of those people that leave comments like that believe that various cities around the United States have somewhere between 70 and 90% foreign-born populations. Here's the thing, only one city in the entire United States has over 70% of the population is foreign-born or an immigrant. There's only 2,000 to 4,000 cities in the United States, depending on what you call a city. Is it over 5,000 residents? Is it over 20,000 residents? There's only one city in the United States that has over 70%. All right, today's video, we're just going to look at the 10th with the highest population of foreign-born residents. All right, let's dispel some myths. Number 10, Irving, Texas. Irving, Texas is a city of almost 240,000 residents in the Dallas metro area. It's just outside of downtown to the west. Irving is where the old Dallas Cowboys Stadium used to be, and part of Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport is within the city limits. Irving always shows up on lists about most diverse cities. Last time I was in Dallas, I stayed in Irving at a Radisson's Inn. It was a weird hotel. It was like behind a mini mall. It's like they put a hotel in the parking lot of a mini mall, behind everything, by the trash dumpsters. 35.9% of Irving's population is foreign-born. Over 50% come from Mexico or El Salvador, but the single largest ethnic group is from India. Number 9, Anaheim, California. Anaheim is a city in Orange County, California, just south of Los Angeles. Anaheim is home to about 350,000 residents, Disneyland, Angel Stadium, and the Honda Center where the Ducks play. Anaheim was founded in 1857 by German immigrants who used to live in San Francisco. They made their way south, found Anaheim, and called it home. Anaheim has an immigrant population that's about 36.8% of the total population, and almost half of those immigrants are from Mexican descent. Anaheim has some great Mexican food restaurants. I used to go there all the time. We'd go to Disneyland and always find one of the Mexican restaurants they have there to eat. Really good food there. Number 8, New York, New York. So this is probably going to blow a lot of people's minds. Everyone just assumes since New York's like the world's biggest melting pot that they're just going to be, 60% foreign-born residents. It's not the case at all. New York City has a population of almost 9 million residents. Their total metro area is like over 20 million, but almost 9 million people actually live in the city. Of that 9 million, 37.2% are foreign-born or immigrants. They have so many different races and cultures going on in New York City. It's really hard to nail down which one is which because each borough has a different makeup. But the city as a whole, about 28% of the New York population is some form of Hispanic or Latino. Number 7, Los Angeles, California. The City of Angels, by far, has the most misinformation, most wrong information, most false information, whatever you want to call it, about their cultural and racial makeup. I mean, it's a big melting pot, just like New York City, but 90% of the residents are not from Mexico. I mean, at one point, it was part of Mexico, so yeah, I'm sure there was a time when 90% of the population was from Mexico. It quit being part of Mexico in 1848 as part of the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. Even the most Mexican neighborhoods in Los Angeles, which we have several, where a large portion of the population is Hispanic or Latino descent, and most of them coming from Mexico, they're not even 90% from Mexico or whatever. I grew up in Los Angeles, and if you think that a high percentage of the population being Hispanic or Latino is a problem, you don't know much about Los Angeles. I think that culture is one of the best things about Los Angeles. But the city of Los Angeles has a population of just about 4 million million residents, with the whole metro area being over 13 million, but the city itself about 4 million residents, and 37.6% of them are foreign-born or immigrants, whatever you want to call it. Los Angeles is home to people from 140 different countries speaking 224 different identified languages. You have neighborhoods like Chinatown. Every big city's got a Chinatown, Filipino town, Korean town, Little Armenia, Little Ethiopia, Little Tokyo, Little Bangladesh, Thai town. We got a town for everyone here. The largest ethnic group in Los Angeles, though, is Hispanics, making up 31.9% of the population. Number 6, San Jose, California. Heading up the coast from Los Angeles about, 5-6 hours, you run into San Jose, California. San Jose's population is just a little over 1 million residents, with their whole metro area making it a little over 2 million residents. The fastest growing ethnic group in San Jose is Indian, people from India, because the tech industry, a lot of them just migrate to Silicon Valley and the San Jose area. 39.4% of San Jose's population is an immigrant or foreign born. Number 5, Irvine, California. Heading back down south, we have Irvine. Irvine's not too far from Anaheim. Irvine is in Orange County, just like Anaheim, though. It is part of the Los Angeles metro area. They have a population of just over 300,000 residents. The largest ethnic group in Irvine is Asians, making up 39.2% of the population. Hispanic or Latinos were only 9% of the population. Irvine sits at 39.6% of their population being foreign-born or an immigrant. Number 4, Jersey City, New Jersey. Jersey City is where you go when you want to get some good distance shots of New York City or the Statue of Liberty. The demographics of Jersey City are kind of interesting because it's almost broken down into 4 quarters. 20.9% are white, 24% are black or African American, 28.8% are Hispanic or Latino, and 25% are Asian. Jersey City just fell short of 300,000 residents in the 2020 census, and 41.7% of that population is foreign-born or an immigrant. Like I said, whichever you want to call it. Number 3, Fremont, California. Back up near San Jose, you have Fremont, California. Fremont has a little over 240,000 residents. It's a growing city. Back in 2010, they only had 214,000. So they've gained quite a bit for such a small place. Everything I said about San Jose is the same in Fremont. They're pretty close to each other, and their demographics are almost identical. The foreign-born or immigrant population of Fremont, California is 47.5% of the population. Number 2, Miami, Florida. Miami is a very diverse city. If you ever go there, you'll pick up on it as you get out of the airport. Miami has a population of about 440,000 residents. The entire metro area has about 6 million. Miami is another one of those melting pots, but a majority of their melting pot comes from Central South America and the Caribbean, or Caribbean, however you want to say it. Their breakdown is like this. 11.9% are white, that's non-Hispanic white, and then Hispanics are 70%, black or African American are 19.2%, and then Asian is only 1%, 4.2% for everyone else. Cubans and Cuban Americans make up 34% of Miami's population. I know a guy that lived there for 20 years. He once told me that he went there for the beaches and a vacation, but he stayed for the food and the Cuban people. Actually, he said the Cuban women. He actually married one. Now he lives in South Carolina. But yeah, that's why he stayed. They're a funny couple, though. She is very much a Cuban woman, and he looks like he's from downtown Dublin. Red hair, white skin, freckles. 58% of Miami's population is foreign-born or an immigrant. All right, before we get to number 1, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. All right, on to number 1. And number 1, Hialeah, Florida. Hialeah is a city in the Miami metro area. It's actually northwest of downtown Miami. It's really not that far away. It has been said that Hialeah is more Cuban than Havana. I don't know how you'd really gauge that, but it's not. Havana is in Cuba. A little over 70% of this city has Cuban ancestry, but 94.7% of the population is actually Hispanic or Latino. They have a lot of Colombians, a lot of Hondurans here, Nicaraguans, and Dominicans. In the 2020 census, Hialeah had a little over 230,000 residents, with 74.4% of them being immigrant or foreign born. So there it is. Hialeah is the only one in the United States that has a population over 70% that is immigrant or foreign born. In Hialeah, just like Miami, you're gonna get great people, great food. They've even got a racetrack and casino. There you'll find a bunch of older Cuban men smoking cigars and betting on things that run around a track, which, by the way, is a good time. I sound like I'm mocking it. It's a lot of fun. But I always sound like I'm mocking something. It's just the way I do things. All right, that's today's list. I hope it cleared up some things for everyone. Now maybe we won't get people trying to say that Los Angeles is 95% Mexican or whatever the new number they come up with every week. Okay, everyone have a great day. Be nice to each other.